Page 17, Minuet, 3/4 time, naturally. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major. Make sure you can do the scale for C major, at least one octave up and down. Just take it one hand at a time and check the fingering and the rhythm and the notes and all. Starting with the right hand, we're starting here on middle C, so it's here. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and... Now look, I disagree with that. I mean, it's doable, you can do it because of the staccatos, but I don't like going from 5th finger to 2nd, if I can help it. So I'm going to recommend in the 2nd measure, for the last G in the measure, use thumb, because I can scrunch up a little bit in here. We have to do that sometimes, but by using thumb, now you're in position for the next measure. So again, the 2nd measure, you're here. 1, 2, 3. Then measure 5, just reach up, 2nd finger on the C up here. 1 and... Now when you repeat, you need thumb down, you just lift up and move. That's okay. There's other fingerings we could use to help us out, but this is fine. You just lift up and move. You don't have to be quick about it or jerky, you just lift up and move. It's like maybe about almost an 1/8 rest. Just stick it, just cut it just a little bit short so you can come down here. I'll talk about that a little more a little later about how to do this. Now in measure 9, they're saying 3rd finger, so you can reach up if you want in 3rd finger. You don't have to. You can go ahead and play the first note with 4th finger if you want to, and then scrunch up and use thumb. But you need the thumb on that C. So whether you use 3rd or 4th, it's up to you. I'm going to use 4th because it's more comfortable for me, and then I'm going to put the thumb on the C. So it's 1 and 2 and then reach down to the octave, and claps, and then here. And then measure 13. Thumb, left hand. You're starting out here in this position. And dotted half notes, remember, are the same as 3 quarter notes. So whatever beat a quarter note gets, the dotted half note gets 3 of those. So here it's 3 beats, which happens to be the whole measure, so that's kind of handy. Measure 4, you're here, and then measure 5, just scrunch up so your little finger's on the E, and 1/8 notes, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. I'm just rocking here, just gentle rock here. I'm not holding the hand still and trying to do the fingers. Just rock it. Let the weight of the hand, you're just kind of walking on the keyboard here. 4th, 1, 2. So I want to keep my thumb on that C. So 4th. Measure 9, you're here, 2, 3, that's pretty much it for the left hand. Put the hands together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Measure 9. Anyway, you work it out and get it together. I'm sure it'll be fine. But I don't want to play it for you because the tendency is you just listen to me and then just copy what I do. I would really rather that you be able to read the music and figure it out yourself and then check it with me. Which means you watch part of the video and then stop it and go work on it and then come back and do some more. See, the videos really aren't intended to just watch it through one time and you've got it. You got to watch bits and pieces of it as you're learning it, and then you can gradually get through it all. And once you have the notes and the rhythms and the fingering, we can add in these staccatos and slurs, the articulation. In the left hand, there isn't much marked, so just connect it. You do have a few staccatos in the left hand, and on the staccatos, again, it's going to be the wrist or hand staccato, depending on where you're from. But it's here. Nice short staccatos. Left hand, just connect it. so forth. So put in all the staccatos and the slurs. Then we can add the dynamics. And that applies to the right hand because that's the melody. Left hand needs to be very soft and in the background throughout. I don't know that it's going to be very soft throughout because the right hand can go up to moderately loud sometimes. So that means the left hand can come up to maybe a soft. But keep the left hand in the background. At the beginning, decide what soft is. I can't tell you what soft is. You have to decide on your own what's soft. And keep the left hand under that. And then for measure 5, you're going to start crescendoing up to moderately loud for measure 7. So you have to plan it out, because if you don't, you'll be loud by the end of measure 5. So measure 5, you're still soft here. Maybe in measure 6, you go up to maybe moderately soft, just a little bit. Now you're moderately loud. See, I just went up like a measure at a time here. So I'm soft at measure 5, a little louder. That's moderately loud in the right hand. And then measure 9, we're moderately loud in the right hand. I'm soft in the left hand. And then a measure 13, you're soft. Well, let's look at that. On measure 12, you're ending a phrase. You see the slur, it's a phrase. So if I take measures 11 and 12, it's here. And I end it, it's like a musical sentence or a musical thought. I ended it. Well, you can come down at the end of a phrase or a musical thought. So I can actually come down to about a moderately soft at the end of measure 12. So it's, I come down here. I didn't stay moderately throughout the whole thing. I came down a little bit. You have to shape the phrases. So in measure 13, when it's soft, you just come down a little more, is all it is. And then measure 14, you're going to start soft, medium loud. And you can come down a little bit there if you want, or you can stay there. There's different ways of interpreting it. I suggest maybe because it's repeated, the first time you play the last 2 measures at the bottom, go ahead and keep it moderately loud throughout. Then you'd repeat it, and then at the end, when you're done, after you've repeated, then you can come down a little bit at the end. If you want. There's different ways of interpreting things. You see, you repeat the first 2 lines and you repeat the last 2 lines. They're surrounded by repeat signs. And when we repeat things, we don't want to play it the same way both times. We change something. And dynamics is something, and staccatos and slurs can be something, and whatever, different things. Something. And so this idea of the dynamics changing like that, well, one time you do it one way and another time you do it another. That's fine. Now, speed-wise, well, an andantino, oh, that's interesting. People don't agree on what andantino means. To me, andantino is around andante, maybe just a hair faster. To some people, it's a hair slower than andante. Whatever, it's between you and your teacher. But I tend to play this, and it's a range, and it's not absolute. That's the problem. So I can't say this is andante, do it this speed. It's not. It's a little slower than the mid-range, whatever that is. It's a minuet. If people are going to dance to it, it's on the slow side of a minuet. To me, that's about an andantino. Now, there's a couple different ways of interpreting some of this. I'll point it out and you can decide. I don't know that one way is right and one way is wrong. There's just different ways of doing it. If you look at measures 8 and the last measure at the bottom, they're the same. You have a dotted half note in the right hand. You're going to hold it down for 3 counts. So it's 1, 2, 3, off. And then you'll get off at the beginning of the next beat, or whenever. Whenever beat 3 is over, you get up. Well, in the left hand, you have staccatos. Well, if I do that, the left hand finishes before the right does. Off. Because you're holding it down for the whole count, whereas the right hand, the left hand, it was just... Well, some people will do it that way. And that's fine. Other people will lift up the right hand with the left at the same time. Like so. Now there's a way to notate that. If that's really what they wanted, they could do it that way. And some people will play it that way too. I mean, it kind of helps when you have to move around. That helps to move around. Because that way you got more time to, when you repeat and go back up, you got more time to get down here. Now, maybe since it's repeated one way, you do it one way, and the next time you do it another way, or whatever I'm saying, you'll figure it out. But just be aware of that kind of thing. I like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I will do the repeats, so I'll give us 3 counts. Let's just go over it slowly to make sure we have all that other stuff right. 1 and ready and go, and 1 and 2. Repeat.